Here we go again.
All right.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of Lifestyles with Love with your girls, Chris and Vic. I'm Chris,
I'm Vic.
and tonight we're here to talk about the curiosity of sobriety. There's a lot that goes into this, so we brought a friend, our dear and loving pal, our love of Disney, all Disney. We have our girl Eve. Here she is.
Hey. Looking fabulous.
Fabulosa.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming. Thanks for coming again. She is we'll call her a veteran now
Yes.
of the Lifestyles of Love. So, yes, we're here tonight to talk about the sober curious. So this is a new term to some of us, maybe to all of us. I was not familiar with this term, although I had been exhibiting this behavior. So we're going to get into that. Eve has recently become sober curious and sober in general for the moment. So what'd you say? You hit 100 days the other day, but now you're on
Day 105.
Congratulations.
105.
Thank you.
That's like
So,
what,
yes.
a little bit over 3 months.
Mhm.
Right. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. And there's lots of reasons why, everybody isn't necessarily an alcoholic. Everybody isn't necessarily out of control. Everybody isn't necessarily, in a bad place. So sometimes people just want to change their lives and be better people. And so we're going to get into it. Ladies, how are you feeling?
We're feeling.
Feeling good.
You've got a date after this. So
Yes.
Okay, yes.
we're going to get into it. So I had like a definition because a lot of people are like, what? Like, I think the word sober is very sobering, and people aren't sure. It just sounds very like matter of fact and serious and like, like something's wrong and there's an alarm bell going off or something. So what's your definition, Eve?
Okay, I would say my definition on it is just understanding a little bit better your relationship towards substances. Whether that means you make a decision to go cold turkey and say, okay, like that's it. Or maybe that means that, for example, with drinking, you'll have one night a month that you decide to drink if you're drinking, more on the daily. So just figuring out more of what a relationship with alcohol looks like for what your goals are in life.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
I like that.
Thank you.
Vic, had you ever heard of this?
I had
what did you
not
think it was?
heard of sober curiosity. I had never. I really did not know that this was a thing whatsoever.
So what did you think? What did you think it was when you heard it?
Like I guess I'm thinking about being sober.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Right. So the definition I found was from verywellmind.com. I'm pursuing journalism, so I have to cite everything. No plagiarism out here. So according to them, it says it means literally to choose to question or get curious about every impulse, invitation, and expectation to drink, or to change your drinking habits for a health-focused reasons, like mentally or physically, versus mindlessly going along with the dominant drinking culture, which we live in.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily about being fully sober, but for some people, alcoholics this is not what we're talking about. Like people who have alcoholism and who have actual addictions and issues like that, being sober curious for them isn't really an option. They need to be sober.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
But this is an alternative to being a health conscious person or just being a generally healthy person, but you drink regularly as a cultural kind of thing. Because when I started thinking about this, I was like, when did I start drinking?
Like on the regular?
Well,
not on the regular,
the beginning of it ever was in high school. When was it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, high school. That's kind of the culmination, right?
Well, I guess my very first drink, I was a child, but
I was too. My very first drink, I was for sure.
The adult gave me beer. My parents were pissed, and we were at that person's house. They gave me beer. I must have been like maybe 5 or something like that. My parents were very upset. But anyway, so I go to lay down in this person's bed, and apparently like I pissed all in the bed, and my parents said, that's what you get. That's to them, giving her fucking beer. That's what your ass get.
Right. Wow. What was yours?
Right.
I just feel like as a kid, I would just like, I remember drinking, like if my mom had like a glass of wine, I just remember always wanting to like feel like I wanted to be an adult. So I would just pretend like wine tasted good, even though at that age it did not taste good. I'd be like, oh yes, I'll have more wine. Yeah, can I have a half a glass of the wine? So I think subconsciously as a child, I related wine, for example, as like, oh, it's what the adults do. This is like the norm. This is what I should be doing. So I started drinking at a young age of just like sipping. And then once I got to high school, then I got into a lot of drinking.
Then it became to the window, right? To the wall, right?
So that's what exactly.
In high school, I got into Daddy's liquor cabinet. So
wow, see, I was not doing that.
Oh yeah.
He didn't really drink. He did not really drink.
Yeah, my parents didn't drink. There was liquor there. Okay, I see what you're saying.
So my parents drank, and we had in our basement an entire bar, like actually like a bar, like stools, the drinks, everything. And I wanted to be so cool so badly that I hosted.
So grown, girl. You trying to be grown.
I was trying to be grown. So I hosted all of these parties in high school where I mean not just like 10 people show up, like 100 people, like a rager, like not okay.
They were having those parties.
Oh yeah. Like kegs in the home.
Like the ones we see in the movies. You was having those.
Exactly what you see in the movies is what I did.
Can't hardly wait. Okay.
100% is exactly what I did. So then I don't know. These guys, I guess, drank my mom's Grey Goose and then filled it with water. So when my mom went to go drink her Grey Goose, she obviously knew it was water. And that was it. They like got this huge big bin and locked it up and yeah.
She's like, this is the worst martini I've ever made.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've done that before.
Yep.
Damn.
Except for I got caught putting the water in the bottle.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you got caught.
That happened. And when my mom said, Eve, why is there water in the Grey Goose? I said, oh, I got caught.
I don't know. I don't like vodka. I like brown.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what that is. Wow.
No, I used to go to, I would go to the store. I would go to Mobile, right? And I would just get like an orange juice and then I would pour half of it out, not knowing shit about shit, because now we all know that you pour the alcohol first and then the mixer, right? Yeah, no. So I'd pour half of it out, and then I would usually put, because my dad, when he did drink, he liked Crown, but there was a bottle of Tanqueray, which I thought it tastes like fucking wood, but I didn't give a shit. I couldn't go buy alcohol, so I'm gonna drink that shit. And so I bring my little Minute Maid, orange juice and Tanqueray with me to the parties. God, anyway.
So what was mine? The first time ever was it was after school with a person who shall remain nameless at this time, and he poured E&J brandy into purple Gatorade, and he shook that shit up, and we were just drinking it. And I remember when the buzz set in, and I was like, oh my God, like, I just felt like so amazing. I felt free. I felt light. I felt like life mattered, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so, sorry, I have to keep putting this on and off because.
Did you get drunk or you just had a buzz?
These security. Well, I was buzzing.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's a difference.
But this is the first time, so yeah, this is the first time ever.
Oh,
so
I
didn't realize it. The first time I got drunk was with our friend Paul Johnson, and I'm gonna call his name out because that's what I do. And this motherfucker told me, he was like, I have the surefire method with no hangover. He's like, white Bacardi rum with pickle spears as a back. And we was drinking that shit all night long. And vomit. Just vomit.
Oh.
Disgusting.
Yeah. Disgusting.
And my parents, the next morning, they were just laughing at me. They were like, oh, yeah.
That's what your ass get.
You had some good times, huh? Yeah. So those were my first experiences.
Yeah.
And
I threw up, I was at a party and the police came, and that's when I threw up, right?
Right in that moment? Damn.
With the fucking police. Yep.
Oh my gosh. My first time
fucking Minker. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. My first time I ever got drunk, I was with my friend. I'll never forget it. And I said to her, I want to get drunk because I had never experienced it yet. And I've seen other people get drunk. So I was like, what is this all about? Like, I want to know like what it is. So we went into her dad's liquor cabinet. We got Jamaican rum. She poured a whole thing into just a cup like this, poured some sugar in it, had a straw, and I had to just drink. And she would sing the ABCs, and I had to keep chugging until we hit Z, and then repeat. A glass.
Oh my God, that is cruel. That's cruel.
Cruel. It was
like alcohol poisoning.
Disgusting. And I did. I'm very certain of it that I had alcohol poisoning. I don't remember any of it. I threw up everywhere. She said, like, I was like barely free. Like, it was like a situation. And that was my first experience being very drunk.
That was your first experience. Okay, so see, we all had these different experiences, right? That were all terrible. But why did we keep, like, how come that wasn't enough?
Right.
It's because of the culture, right?
Well, I think there's a big part that I believe is with the subconscious. And when you're growing up and you're seeing, whether it's parents or their parents' friends or whoever, when you're seeing over and over again at dinner parties that adults are drinking, then I feel, I mean, that subconsciously you're saying, oh, it's good to do that. Oh, I'm going to relate that drinking has to be what you do to have fun. And then on top of that, as a kid growing up, as a young child, you're still seeing the television with, you know, commercials and whatnot, involving drinking to have fun. So if you have a bad situation, I think you're just like, well, that was a one-time thing. The next time will be more fun.
No, I absolutely agree with you. Because especially too, like once you start working at a young age, I think that I don't know why we wanted to be grown so fast.
So fast.
You know, because I would love to go back, like fucking definitely, you know, but I absolutely agree with you. And plus it's like, you know, once we start working, even if we're like 16, 17, 18, and we're maybe paying some bills, we're like, well, shit, now you're in the working world and this is what people, you know, who work do to unwind. They drink. They may, smoke or, whatever. Because I feel like growing up though that I knew more people who smoked than who drank, who smoked cigarettes.
Right.
Mine was very even. It was both.
That's just that I know of, because like when we were at school, we would have something across the street from the school called the Smokers Pit. And so a lot of people went over there to smoke, but not really did they have like but right over here is the bar. Like, no.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I guess that's why I felt like I was kind of more exposed to that. And that wasn't my thing, smoking. So, but when we went to parties, then that's when you would really, see people drink.
And I felt it was interesting in high school too, because I felt like you almost, at least where I went to school, I felt like I had to drink to get drunk to feel like I was cool. Like, and everyone was doing
yes.
that. You're playing like beer pong and flip cup and taking shots. And it's like, your goal is not to have one drink at a high school party. Your goal is to drink to get drunk. And then from there, I mean, I'll just speak on my experience. I went off to college, which it was a party school. And it was the same culture, drinking to get drunk and keg stands. And I mean, it was just like next level, that I felt drinking was completely like hand in hand with being cool, so to speak.
Yeah, I can understand that. I think that my body has never really agreed with alcohol. And I think that it took me a very long time to come to terms with that. And so I think like when I drink a little bit, like it doesn't really take, much. And I've been drinking for like, a long time.
Right.
But I mean, for like years, right? I just feel so sick, but I didn't care because I just thought, well, I'm young, it's okay. It's totally okay. And now not so much. No, definitely not so fucking much. Yeah.
So basically, apparently, we are we're generation sober. That's what millennials and zillennials have been called, because like yoga and therapy and mindfulness and wellness and things meditation have like cultivated our generations, and we kind of live by these methods and things much more than our parents or grandparents. So apparently that's a breeding ground for these sober bars and sober restaurants that are like mocktails only.
Oh, really?
Like champagne that's non-alcoholic, wine that's non-alcoholic, kombucha, all kinds of kombucha, because kombucha is like the substitute for a lot of like vegan people who don't drink or can't drink, like they can't process wine or beer or whatever.
That's very interesting, because I feel like when you go out to eat, majority of the money goes to the alcohol. Like you spend more money on alcohol.
So much less. It's insane. I'll go out to eat. I'm like, hold up, that's it. That's all it's gonna cost.
Right. Because
like we
dinner
should
might be like
$4 to that at least.
Right.
Minimum.
Oh my gosh. And then being out here, like I'm in Louisiana now, and alcohol is way fucking cheaper here. It's way cheaper. And so like I remember I used to drink Hennessy. Oh, I graduated. I used to drink Hennessy. Oh Lord. Girl, yes, I used to drink that Hennessy. And so I remember one time I came out here, this was probably like 10 years ago. I was out on Bourbon Street, and there was this bar where they had like test tube shots, and everything was $3, including Hennessy. And where I come from, Hennessy's like $20 a shot. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's up. Like, I'm getting fucked up.
Let's go. Exactly.
Right, so that's very interesting. I wonder how those restaurants are. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah,
I wonder how
one thing that's helped me, especially because I started my alcohol-free journey throughout the holidays. I was doing it, which is a time where you associate alcohol, holidays. It just goes together. So I started getting really into mocktails. I didn't find that mocktails for me, a lot of people can't do mocktails. For me, it didn't feel like a trigger because I just wanted the social component of like feeling like I was drinking with people, not just water, because water's boring if you're like at a party or something.
Water sucks.
You know, it's like I want to still go out and enjoy something that's tasty.
Girl, you better get you a water at a restaurant, throw you some Crystal Light in there or something. You'll be
yeah, exactly. No, so I found I have like a bunch of just like non-alcoholic spirits, and it's like made with just, I don't know, different spices or something. But they have everything now. You can make like a non-alcoholic martini. Like it's not a martini where you're actually using vodka, but they have things that will have the same type of taste, and you put it in a glass that's fancy and you're good to go, hangover free. It's amazing.
That's the thing. That is the thing. See, like even like I was saying, back in the day, I feel like my body has never really agreed with alcohol. I don't know if there's something that maybe I should have gotten that tested or something. You know?
I mean, most people can't agree with alcohol. It's essentially ethanol that you're drinking.
Right. But now that we're older, of course, the hangovers are just so different. Yeah. You know, you used to be able to pull an all-nighter. You could go to work. You could go to school.
The things that I got away with in my 20s.
Right.
Like,
I mean, and they're not that far behind. So
I know.
Where did it all go? What happened? But shit, even then, I would, I mean, I always kind of, I feel like made an ass out of myself with alcohol, but I guess I just didn't care. That was the thing. But I think for me, I hit rock bottom when I was grieving. I was grieving the loss of my brother. And that's when I hit rock fucking bottom, like with alcohol. I mean, I would never go to work drunk or anything like that. I wouldn't go to school drunk or anything. But that's when, you know, my issue really started. And it took me a really long time to get over that. I mean, he's been gone for like, what, almost 6.5 years. So I very recently, I wouldn't say I definitely don't drink as much as I used to, like by far. And I feel so much better. And my pockets are heavier.
Right? It's crazy. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest thing, like what Crystal was saying with Sober Curious, of like understanding why we drink. That was a big thing for my journey, is to like sit with the emotions of, am I numbing something because I'm hurt, sad, angry, trying to fit in? Like, what is the reason that I am drinking? And
what did you come up with?
I realized that I was drinking a lot to numb a lot of my insecurities. I was bullied really badly as a kid, like terrible bullied, had to go to a different middle school after elementary school because it was so bad. And yeah, it was, I mean, if that type of bullying happened in today's world, like it wouldn't have gone to that level because it was that severe. So because of that bullying, I still have those triggers. Am I enough? Or like, how do I fit in? I just want to be accepted. So if I went to go out and I'm drinking with no off switch, I realized after now 105 days and continuing this journey, I'm going to continue to realize a lot more. But what I've realized so far is that I was drinking because of those insecurities that I got from my childhood that just kept carrying all the way. And if anything upset me, I would say, all right, I want some wine. Why? Because I was just trying to numb the feeling instead of to sit with the feeling. Or when I was dating, I had the insecurities. Am I pretty enough, smart enough? Am I just enough? And then I would just drink to lower those inhibitions, feel a sense of confidence, feel like this empowerment that wasn't even real. It was, wasn't real. It was just, it felt real at the time, but it wasn't real.
It's a mask. Yeah.
It's a mask. Yeah. So that's why I really was drinking, to numb everything.
That makes a lot of sense, because you were relating alcohol to being cool. And if you felt like, you weren't enough. Yeah. No.
Which is
Kids
how
are shitty.
Yeah, it's just, I look at it and I look at how every single part of life so far has led to becoming more and more dependent on alcohol, especially once the pandemic hit and there was, nothing else to do, and just the chaos of it and the uncertainty and the stress. It was alcohol was there. Alcohol was there for me at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So it's I was gonna say there's a lot of, especially being American, there's a lot of our culture that is built around drinking, and so it's very easy to, I don't know, as we were saying, as a child or as an adult who doesn't necessarily get a whole lot out of drinking. Like if you just think about it, like tailgating, weddings, funerals, happy hours, networking events. I mean, like we celebrate the highest highs and lows of life with champagne, wine, beer, cocktails, whatever. So, and it's not just American culture, obviously European culture. I was gonna say, like when I worked in an Italian restaurant in New York, European children, when they would eat Italian food with their parents, would happily and easily just grab their parents' wine and just take a sip as they were eating, and it wasn't a thing. Because that's also a thing about American, children and American culture is that alcohol is it is so forbidden that for Americans you're not supposed to drink till you're 21. Where everywhere else in the world it's 18, right? And America decides that it's 21, and they don't try to like inflict it on their children. Like they try to keep it away from their children, but obviously it's like we all watch our parents drink from the time that I don't know we can remember.
Yeah.
And so it's like a rite of passage or something. And we talked about when we started drinking, it was way before 21.
Right.
So we start these habits really early of just kind of numbing our feelings. And like Eve was saying, the bullying that's happening, you're feeling much better after you've had a shot of Smirnoff Ice than before you did.
Smirnoff fucking Ice. Oh my God. That was that girl back in the day. I remember going on a cruise with my family, and I was either 16 or 17. And yeah, once you hit international waters, the drinking age was 18. Well, I wasn't even 18 yet, but motherfuckers were buying me alcohol. I mean, I'm on a boat, I never got carded or anything like that, and I was definitely drinking, because it's like Crystal was saying, it's this forbidden thing, and it's very similar to like sex, when you don't educate children, because even though I was 16, like, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm still a child, so when you make something so forbidden, when we get our hands on it, you know what I mean, like we're going to we're going to go nuts. Because it's like, why can't I have this? Why not? You're doing it, whatever. Or this person's doing it, and this and that. I mean, if everybody was jumping off of a bridge, would I do it? No, but
I think that's why, especially in America, and I'm no expert on this, but I just feel that especially in this country, the binge drinking is so extreme versus other countries. Because other countries like, oh, okay, like I'll have a drink. But here it's like, I'm not allowed to have a drink. I'm going to have as many as I can right now.
Exactly.
And that's why you see like, the freshmen in college who are 19 and they're not allowed to have a drink yet in America, or the high school students who are just like getting blackout drunk over and over again. I think it is because it is like you're not allowed to do it, so okay, I'm gonna do it.
Yep.
Right. Probably. And even on the ship, Eve, I mean, we're not allowed to do anything except drink. And so on that ship,
let me
tell you, there is the most drinking that goes on if you are on a ship. If you work
I don't know what's going on. I really thank you guys for being patient. I don't know what's happening, but it keeps kicking me off. And I'm trying to come back, but I'm really apologizing. Like, I don't know what's going on.
You were saying about on the ship.
On the ship. That's pretty much the only thing you have to blow it out at the end of the day. There's nothing else. I mean, a lot of us were reading books, and that was an outlet, and like watching Disney movies all day or Disney shows. But the drinking was hardcore, and because you're on a boat, one drink equals two drinks.
Right, because there's like, what do they call it? I forget. If you get drunk way faster on a ship. That is true. And it's so interesting, right, Crystal, the culture of working on a ship with drinking, because at the crew bar, if you have like a double vodka soda, it's $2.25. And I think like a Heineken was like 25 cents. Like, okay, so shots for everybody. It's on me. It's going to cost me maybe $4. Like, I got you. And then there's these cabin parties where like everyone's just bringing like bottles and bottles and bottles of wine. Like, I would easily have a bottle of wine to myself, like almost.
Yeah, they have wine nights, and then you go on the islands, and you're in the most beautiful islands in the world, and there's these bars, and it's like nobody's stopping you.
And then everybody then everybody on the boat is beautiful because they're foreign too, so you're just so intrigued. And because we went on a boat, so we went on one of those Disney ships, and with a main character, so then we were privy to the crew bar, and again, the drinks are so fucking cheap, so you're like,
so cheap.
Hell yeah, right? Like because at one point when they let me, somehow I got a bottle of white Hennessy or Hennessy white, whatever, onto the ship. Shit, I wasn't paying for no more fucking alcohol. Yep. But those crew bars, I mean, I think too, like, have you guys ever watched Disney movies while drinking?
Like, oh yeah,
been there before many times.
I mean, you're around all those fucking kids and all these things. You're like, fuck, I'm gonna get fucking plastered.
I would actually say that Disney, when we worked on the ship, I would say that's when I learned how at times to become like a functional drunk, because you had to go down the I-95, which the I-95, it's like this alley underneath the ship where like the crew lives and everything. But I remember actually be drunk. You weren't allowed to be drunk, but yet at the crew bar, they're like, here's more drinks, here's more drinks. So you had to like literally for your job, make sure you got from the crew bar to your cabin without an officer being like, are you drunk? So I think because of that experience, I was like, it taught me how to be able to like really be functional, even if I was drunk.
Yeah, because we watch people get fired, like straight up fired
all the time,
and stumble onto the ship, and so yeah, you're right. That was a good lesson in learning how to be functionally drunk, and because of the night before at the crew bar, and we had to wake up the earliest of everybody, besides maybe the people who were manning the ship, and
I don't know what she's to say, but what I will say
Crystal.
I know, poor Crystal. We would have to wake up so early, and even if you were hungover, you just had to like pretend like everything was fine and perform completely.
Nobody saw your face, so you were fine inside but we were not.
How hard was that? Oh my gosh! Like honestly, like even now,
I don't know how we did it.
I don't even know.
I don't either. I don't know how nobody grew up in their head.
I don't know. I don't know how we did it. Like I think about that now. I could.
But think about it. It's like we go into. That's what it is. That's what you're talking about. It's like your brain goes into this. It goes to this place where it can't be touched because you got a job to do and you gotta fucking do it, and you're drunk. But it's almost like when you do the thing, you're not drunk while you're doing it. Like you don't feel drunk, you feel sober. Clearly you are, and
so
to yourself,
Yeah, that was definitely the years that I would say I learned very well how to be a functional drunk and wake up the next day crazy hungover and like still get whatever I needed to do. Totally done, crush the job. Like nobody would know that like
you go, girl.
I was out till 4 a.m. No one would know.
Because fuck no. I lied. I did go to work one time hungover, years ago. a bunch of us we went out for like some bridal shower or something, like a bunch of people I worked with in the morning. We worked nights, so we went in the morning. And that's the thing about living in somewhere like Vegas, and now I'm in New Orleans where they literally have fucking hurricane parties.
Oh my God.
Like hurricanes come in, everybody's at the liquor store stocking the fuck up, and they're fucking drinking at home. Like, yes, it's a thing. And so these party cities, and so we go to a buffet at fucking 8:00 in the morning where you can get crab legs, like everything at 8 in the morning. There's a bar inside the fucking buffet. Like, it's a wrap. So we're on there getting fucking shit faced. Everybody called in but my dumb ass. I go to work. I was going to the bathroom, I don't know, every fucking like half an hour to an hour or something to throw the fuck up. Stupid ass.
But yeah, you drank again a little bit.
But I mean, like, why would I do that shit knowing I had to fucking work that night? Why the fuck didn't I call in, you dumb bitch? But but just looking back, I mean, I had fun. God, as ridiculous really as that shit was, but I'm like, I could never pull no shit like that off today. Like, if I'm drunk or hungover, you're gonna fucking know, and I'm gonna look like shit. I'm gonna, and I would never. Now I'm like, I have shit to lose, so I can't even operate like that. But it was fun when it lasted.
Yeah.
So Eve, tell us about the detrimental, to our health things that you've discovered.
Yeah. So, I mean, I will say that I never hit like a stereotypical rock bottom, meaning I never lost my job because of drinking. I wasn't drinking every day. I didn't ruin like a serious relationship or nothing like that happened to me.
Get a DUI.
No, nothing like that. I think there were times in my life that I've gotten very lucky in life, throughout life, where I could have put myself in a dangerous situation, unsafe. I got lucky sometimes. But the biggest thing that I realized was that my drinking wasn't improving my life. It was just giving me, like, I would wake up from a hangover after a crazy drinking night with so much, it's real, anxiety. Like, what did I say? What did I do last night? I would get depressed. I would say, why did I black out last night? Like, I'm 35 years old and I'm doing well in my career and this and that. Like, what am I doing? And then it would happen again. And then it would happen again. Am I drinking? I would drink to get drunk with no off switch, and I would have a great time. And most of the times, nothing bad happened. But that you wake up and you just feel absolutely terrible. I just got to a point where that's not the best version of myself. And I was noticing that it was only getting worse, which is what happens with alcohol. It only gets worse. So then I read a book called The Naked Mind, which I highly recommend everyone in the world should read this book. Like, her name is Annie Grace, who wrote this book, and it just tells you more about the science of the negative effects of alcohol, both physically and mentally. But wow, when I started really opening my eyes to this, of what it does to your dopamine levels, what it does to your skin, what it does to your liver, how much of an increase it creates in chances of certain types of cancer, just everything, like your energy, what it does to your sleep. Like, it is terrible for your health. Like, beyond terrible. You are I already said it earlier today, but you are actually drinking ethanol, which is what you fill your car up with gas. Ethanol. It's the same thing. They strip it, they make it taste better with sugar and so forth. That's what you're putting in your system. And the two biggest things that really blew my mind. One, when you're a kid, drinking a glass of wine trying to be cool, whether it's your mom's or your dad's, like, having a sip of that, most kids, they drink that glass of wine and they say, ugh. They don't say yum. It's because your body knows it's toxic and your body is like, no, don't keep drinking that. That's not good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing that I was like, wow. The second thing that was interesting to me is what an amazing job the alcohol industry does on their marketing, because they're all trying to get money. So the whole wine pairing thing straight up is a scam completely, because alcohol it's an anesthetic. So it literally, your taste buds are numbed. So you can't possibly enjoy food, the taste of food better because it's paired with a wine. It's numbing your taste. It doesn't make sense. What makes sense is that the wine companies are like, oh, that Cabernet is going to pair great with this because so you buy this expensive bottle of wine and then you buy the wine fridge and the, this and that, whatever. It's a whole industry. It's all about money.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I was like, wow.
I think that.
Yeah, I saw.
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I was just saying I saw heart disease, liver.
Heart disease.
Yeah, liver especially, but there's something that you can develop. It's called like wet brain, and it has to do with the deficiency of vitamin B1, which is thiamine, and you can develop like psychosis and loss of muscle coordination and things. And I think what's like substances, I think that it is hard for people because if you call, if you say, I think we use the word addict loosely, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people always, of course, people want to feel like they're in control of themselves and of their lives. And I think people have a hard time admitting, because it took me a long time to admit that, no, I'm not an addict. But I do have, some form of a dependency, going through my grief with alcohol. And I would feel like at times, like even like in my head, I'm like, I just would feel so off. And I'm like, no, this is, I don't have kids yet. I still want to be able to have a baby. Like,
right.
What am I doing to myself? What am I doing to my loved ones? I know there were times when, because I'm an emotional drunk, and then very quickly can turn into a mean drunk. And, I'm hurting people that I really don't want to, but I'm just in so much pain. You know what I mean? Like, I need to, I'm thinking I'm making myself feel better by getting drunk, but I'm not, so it's not just, it's physical, it's mental. You can really push people away, and people, they may understand what you're going through, but when you push people to a certain place and a limit, like they don't have to forgive you,
right.
Which could probably send somebody more into a depression and an alcohol, binge, also. So we have to be honest with ourselves.
I mean, one of the scariest things for me was, what is it doing to my brain? Because I was drinking to get drunk, which led to way too many blackouts. I would black out a lot. And a big problem was that a lot of times when I was partying, people wouldn't even know I was blackout drunk. They wouldn't even know. They would know I was obviously drunk, but it's fine. She can go home. And I would wake up. How did I get home? Yeah. And what a blackout is doing, it's literally having your brain is not able to form a memory. That's a blackout. That, to me, your brain is not able to form a memory. No, thank you. I want to be present in life. I want to remember life. If I go out, I want to go out with people I'm having such a great time with that I don't need the alcohol. Because if I'm going to, this was a big thing for me too. If I'm going somewhere where I feel I need to drink to have fun, then it's probably not such a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
And there's something about alcohol that's happening like in our body that's like, it's giving us some.
I think that what happens though too is like, if you get too wild or something, you can just always go back and blame it, on the alcohol, because that would be me. Like whenever I went out to like a club, I feel like I don't have rhythm. So I wouldn't care like once I reached a certain level with the alcohol, because I'm like, okay, if I look stupid, I can just blame it on alcohol. Or you just, your inhibitions are just to the wind. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying, Chris?
I was just saying there's a sense of comfort, unfortunately.
Yeah, a false sense. Absolutely.
A very false sense.
I feel like every time I start to talk, I'm going to go out. So I'm going to stop talking.
No,
I know. We want to hear you.
I don't know what else to do. Every time I start talking, I go out.
I know. And then what it does to your decision making.
Oh,
yes. Because I feel you on the blackouts, done that, said things that I normally would, I may have thought, but like I said, inhibitions to the wind. So I'm getting a little too loose lipped. But those damn decisions that you make.
The decisions. Like, I will say 105 days, I can tell you that every decision I have made was a conscious decision that I decided to make. And every single night that I went to sleep, even if I went out or whatever, every night I went to sleep, I remembered the entire night. And every morning I'd wake up, I knew I would wake up without a hangover, feeling good, feeling energized, ready to go on with my day. I mean, to be able to have that every day it feels good.
Empowering.
It feels so empowering. And it took me a while. Like, I'm still working through it. There are days that I'm like, oh, I just want a drink. Like, I just want one. But then I have to really sit with, like, why do I want that drink so badly right now? Like, what is the reason? Am I upset? Am I bored? Do I feel lonely? Do I not feel comfortable with who I'm going out to dinner with? That I need to, why do I really want that drink? And when I can, like, I've been journaling quite a lot. And when I journal it through, it gives me the feedback I need to understand exactly why I want to drink. And then from there, okay, is it really worth it? And I fast forward that tape and I think about, if I drink right now, knowing I don't have an off switch, knowing that I want to drink because I am obviously triggered, well, what is that going to look like for me at the end of the night when I start making bad decisions as I'm blackout drunk? And what's that going to look like for me tomorrow when I have a terrible hangover, feeling miserable, feeling a sense of shame, guilt, depressed?
Yes.
That's not worth it. So I play the tape forward, and that has been helpful.
But then also too, like you're saying, a shot literally takes like a second, right? You're journaling and really processing your emotions and doing work. Like, that takes so much longer. It'd be so much easier to just give in to one shot, which is going to turn into two, and maybe 3, 4, 5 shit. You know what I mean? So it's really work. And it is something that you have to get a hold of, because what's going to happen is, like I said, like for me, like I get loose lipped and, probably do things that I wouldn't normally do. And so then it starts to control you.
It sure does. It sure does.
Congratulations, making alcohol your bitch.
Thank you. It's been a journey.
So since you have stopped drinking, do you feel like you have picked up another habit of some sort, or another vice, or are you doing something else more than you used to?
I started coloring. I've gotten very good at coloring books.
Yes.
Coloring and writing. I've fallen in love with writing, which I always enjoyed writing. But I really have loved writing everything down. So I take about, like, I don't know, 45 minutes to just do some free writing every night, which I've loved.
Okay.
But all of my, like, habits now are very mindful. It's no bad vices instead of.
Intentional.
It's very intentional. Like, I have always loved to work out, but now it's like, okay, I can work out on Sundays because I'm not hungover. So I've just found that I'm doing more things that are bringing me, like, true, actual happiness and a feeling of just being content. Yeah.
We love that.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's all very psychological,
Mhm.
philosophical.
Yeah.
It's a soul search.
A true soul search. It
And I
really
mean,
is.
what are you feeling like, Eve? You feel like you're never going to drink again, or you feel like there's going to be special occasions? You feel like, how do you feel
I
right
guess
now, anyway?
that's the biggest question I get all the time. I don't like to say that I'm never going to drink again because that is overwhelming for me to say and intimidates me a
Mm-hmm.
lot to be like, I'm just never going to drink again.
Mhm.
And I would be lying if I said I don't miss drinking. I miss drinking often. Like there are times that I'm like, oh, I just want to take a shot, or like, let's get like crazy. Let's have some
Mhm.
fun. And Crystal, you've seen me out, so you know. Like there's
Yeah.
times I just want to like have a really expensive bottle of wine at dinner with and share it with a friend. There's times that, if it's a sports event, like I would want to
Yeah.
have like the beer with the wings, or like if I'm at a wedding, I want to be able to toast with the champagne. If I'm networking at a happy hour, I want to have like my martini.
Right.
If I'm flying, because I fly all the time, if I'm flying first class, I want my Bloody Mary. I want to go to the bottomless boozy brunch and have endless amounts of mimosas. So I miss alcohol so much, but because
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's doing physically and mentally to my body, which is not doing good at all, I now know that it would be a quick fix. And I know that the next day it wouldn't be worth it for me. So for right now, I'll say I'm not drinking ever again. However, if you ask me tomorrow and my decision changes, it's part of the journey.
I
So
mean, a lot of people don't even say that. A lot of people are just like, I'm not drinking right now.
yeah, like that's my
Yeah.
And
true.
that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And mostly so that people don't worry if they do see you drink. Or,
right. Like I don't want people to worry if like, a year down the line, I'm like, you know what? I actually now feel like I want to have 2 drinks at dinner and that's my limit. I can stick with that. Who knows? Maybe that's like where my journey leads. For today, it's not. I know that. I know
Yeah.
for today, I have way too much growth and soul searching and healing to do until I'm there. But
Mhm.
I don't want to ever put a label to myself. I want this to be a journey that is for me. It's no one else's journey. It's my journey. And I don't know what the future looks like. I just know that what I can always live by is one day at a time. That's it.
All right. I like that. Congratulations.
That's all we can all do.
Yeah. How can I make today the
That's a
best
good
day
mantra.
ever?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. And there are, if you are questioning it, there are resources out there. Do you have any
Yeah.
resources, Eve, that you can think of
Yeah.
off the
I
top of
mean,
your head?
I do want to say that when I first started in this journey, I felt like there was a lot of shame. I felt there was a lot of shame
Mm-hmm.
to um to admitting that I have, an alcohol use disorder where I had, I would drink to get drunk. And there should not be any shame, but that's just from the stigma of society. So if you
Mhm.
are thinking about being sober curious, like power to you. You're really thinking about just ways that you can continue to elevate your life to be that best version of yourself. And that's something to be proud to investigate. Again, that book, The Naked Mind, read it. It's amazing.
Yes, The Naked
Um,
Mind. Control alcohol, find freedom, discover happiness, change your life.
yeah,
That's by Annie Grace.
Yeah, and she actually has a 30-day experiment book as well that kind of guides you through journaling of how to do it for 30 days. And I'd say try it for 30 days and really be mindful of how you feel from it. There are a lot of
Mm-hmm.
Facebook groups, there are a lot of Instagram accounts, and all you have to do is like hashtag sober curious, and you'll find a ton of resources that way. There's lots and lots and lots of sources, whether it's therapy, recovery centers, AA. There's so many sources to help. And the biggest thing is there's no shame to ask for help.
Definitely not. And just like always, as a, you know, a reminder when you're on a journey that, you know, sometimes we stumble off the path a little bit. And I mean, that's okay. You know, as long as you get back on, you know, the path, get back on the journey.
With pride. Yeah. And also
you're human.
There's not one way to, you know, I've found that for my journey, my therapist has been like my guiding light in this journey and has been like the key person in my life to keep me going one day at a time. So it's just finding what's right for you versus what like you should do. There is no should in this. It's your journey. Just do what feels right and follow that intuition of it.
Good advice. I feel like there's more to this. I wanted to eventually, you haven't met my friend Evan, who is true addict, alcoholic, like hardcore. And he's been sober for 3 years, and he lives in New York City, which is I believe one of the hardest places to be sober. And I think we should have we should bring the discussion together because he's dating, you're dating. That was the part we were going to get to eventually, was the dating sober or sober dating, because that's got to be hard. I actually just stopped seeing a guy that was sober, and it wasn't because he was sober. I'll just say that, but it was a different experience. So we'll get into that another day.
Yeah. A lot about that subject, which I'm learning.
I was going to say, I'm sure there's a lot. And he's got a lot because he's a gay man in New York City, dating sober. And his reasoning is so kind of horrifying when you hear it at first, you know, when you just kind of don't know. Right. So it's hard for him to like open up about it because it's kind of embarrassing and humiliating. But he embraces it. So shout out to Evan, and shout out to you, Eve. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Amazing.
And I think it's all going to work out. I think it's only helping you be even better and even more amazing than you already are. So
thank you.
I think
I will say the biggest thing was like telling people. Like now I feel I can talk about it. And just recently is when I, you know, shared it on Instagram and told the world that I'm no longer drinking. But I was really grateful to feel so much support by just everyone. I felt like if I tell people that, you know, I started abusing alcohol, people are going to judge me, or I'm not going to be all of a sudden able to fit in anymore. And the reaction I got was the complete opposite. It was nothing but love, encouragement, like you got this. So that shocked me of just how much love and support I received when telling people about my journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it helps that we're in our 30s too, because maybe if you had said this when you were 19, people would have looked at you crazy.
Yeah, right. I'm sure, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But Eve has to get ready for her. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna let her go because I know she has to get ready for this date, and she only
has to fun.
She's about 15 minutes.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much again and again for having me. I love being on the show. Thank you.
Anytime, darling.
And you'll be back.
I'll be back. Yes.
Have fun tonight.
We love you guys. Yes, have fun. Be safe.
Please.
And wear your mask, guys. Get vaccinated.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Yeah, that's it. So we love you guys. Thank you for listening. And we'll be back.
See you in a few.
See you next time.